Welcome back to the motherfucking show. Number one in the chat, Strategy Member. Psych. End of stream, guys. Thanks for coming. Welcome back to the show, everybody. I am Abandoned Nihilism, aka the Harbinger. I have a homeless man beard. Welcome back, Strategy Member. Welcome back, Chem Goblin, and welcome back, Davey. Thank you for being here. I guess we're gonna have to get my fuck yous right off the bat. I mean, fuck you, Davin. I don't know what the fuck is so fucking funny about this. Maybe he was talking about me. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. Contrast the seriousness of this with my bedhead. Yeah, let me fix that. Transnessville shooter for Palestine. Wow. Cool. So with literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words, you've you've found some way to be incredibly toxic with just 5 words. Fascinating. Your look. Yeah, well, sometimes I like to look into the camera. You know, people, you know, of course this is a entertainment medium mostly, so people are used to watching. What they don't realize is that I'm watching back. You know? Kind of like when you stare into the void, right? Do a silly beard next time, huh? Would that make the covering these topics easier if my beard was It's completely ridiculous. Some kind of carnival beard or something. Is that what you want? Kind of curly mustache while I'm covering civilian deaths in Palestine. Yeah, mutton chops. This would look nice. All right. Well, once I get a Patreon, I might be able to do that for you guys. All right. Well, I take it back, Davin. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Chem Goblin, here's your link right here. That was Tear Gas and Plate Glass plus David Hikes, a song called Plague Burial. Check him out today. Thank you very much. Oh, you're fine, Davin. It's fine. It's, I joke around all the time, and I get offended when people joke around, but I don't know. I guess I'm a hypocrite on that one. I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm just trying to get everybody healthcare, education, a house, a retirement, motherfucking white picket fence, and a front fucking lawn for every goddamn person on planet Earth. Is that too much to ask? Is that utopian? Doesn't feel utopian. When I look at the mountain of trash the size of Texas in the middle of the ocean, I think to myself, we have the capabilities to do this. Strategy? What are you, a communist? There we go. Fix that. All right, folks, we're going to jump into Trump news first. Trumpin'. I got to fix this. Hold on. Trumpin'. Here we go. Be crumpin'. We got to do Trump, then we're going to do Ukraine, and then we're going to jump into Israel, Gaza. Just an update on the massacre that's happening. I'd like to remind everybody that international law makes it pretty clear that two wrongs don't make a right. If you were going to make a stance of, well, the human rights laws and the Nuremberg trials and all these things are irrelevant, you're basically saying war crimes are okay. You don't get to say, oh yeah, well, all these other regimes that are committing heinous war crimes are bad. You can't have your cake and eat it too. There, you're making a very clear stance. Anyway, more to come, guys. More fun to come. Are we having fun already? My God. Looking at that footage of what's left of northern Gaza sure got me wanting to talk about Taiwan. From your boy Woke Patriot in the Discord. Thank you, Woke Patriot, for this link. I'm not going to read the whole fucking article. You can read it right here if you want. But it's a bad sign to come. The United States, as we've seen with Ukraine, the United States intelligence and military often knows more than the American public, and they knew a week in advance that Putin was going to invade, or maybe even longer. That Putin was going to invade. So when you see actions like this, concrete, legitimate actions, right? Not rhetoric, but actions. It's a harbinger. Boo! Boo! No, it's a really bad sign. It's a really bad sign. I'm not going to sit here and make any predictions, but what this tells me is that the United States intelligence services deems China's threat against Taiwan's sovereignty to be legitimate enough to quietly arm this fucking country to the teeth. Apparently, they know exactly. I mean, they don't know for certain, but they're like, they're doing their calculations and their war games. And they're like, oh, there's a good chance. This video is so fucking close to my face. I adjusted my monitor. We fixed this? Oh my God. Look at that. All right. Let's do this. You can see... fucking super zoom over here. Looks terrible. But yeah, back to what I'm saying here. It's, the bad sign. Moving on to the next story. This creepy fucking weirdo, Mike Johnson, who is the new head of the Republican Party, Speaker of the House, shares his pornography habits with his son and vice versa. Some kind of Christian attempt at keeping each other honest. Good God, man. Good God, man. This is the face of the Republican Party, folks. This is who they said, yep, you're my guy. You can lead us. A straight up creepy fucking weirdo. Are we allowed to say that anymore? Am I giving a bad name to fucking weirdos? I'm sorry, this is fucking weird. Oh, it's my religion. It's my religion. Yeah, okay, you're weird. Oh, you can't say my religion's weird. Yes, I can. You goofy son of a bitch. What the hell are you doing? Sharing your pornography habits with your son? What if he and his son share the bed? What, have sex with each other? Yeah, that's wrong. Is it weird that I don't see this as that big of a deal? Yes. Yes. Okay, we need to return to the era of shaming. Okay? What happened? What happened to shame? Okay? Okay, maybe maybe because you're super religious you're doing this. You don't tell people. This guy did like an interview with like a fucking, oh yeah, I do this. He's all proud about it. Welcome back, Clutch Cargo, by the way. And Eric the Eclectic. How many questions just went and downloaded that app? Oh, it's funny to me because, there's that Josh Duggar case, right? And I don't know if you've dug into that. But in throughout the trial, it was discovered that he was using Linux distributions to search for and look at child pornography. And my wife was recently telling me he was down. I think probably the same app, but she was asking me about this app that she heard Josh Duggar was using, and I'm just thinking to myself, this is just a weird, bizarre virtue signal. It's like a way to tell the world, look at my squeaky clean pornography habits. Like we're supposed to pretend like these guys don't know how to look up shit and and get to the juicy stuff. You know what I'm talking about, that femboy Hooters stuff, right? This guy, oh yeah, well, all the porno I search for is through this app, which monitors and sends it to my son. Here's a hot video, son. Want to watch it together, son? So that's one thing. He's a creepy weirdo, and I'm not afraid to say it, okay? I'm sorry, when you're busting out the phone apps to monitor and not to monitor your porn habits, and also share those habits with family members, I'm calling you fucking weird. It's not a kink. If it's okay, if only if no, because it involves no, okay. It would have to involve consenting adults in the family. What if this is some weird sexual kink? That's what I'm trying to say. Is like, is this kink shaming? Am I shaming his kink? Is he getting off thinking his son is also getting off to the videos he's getting off to? Oh my God. Let him be. the hills people die on. I tell you, man, the fucking hills people die on. Okay, all right, here we go. Let's get into it. Quote, I'm proud to tell you, my son has got a clean slate. Homie, your son is looking at stuff. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, he's look everything through the app. He has there's no other way for him to find pornography. Speaker of the House says his accountability partner. It's some kind of kink, dude. During a conversation on the war on technology at Benton, Louisiana's Cypress Baptist Church, unearthed by ex-user Receipt Mavin last week, the Louisiana representative talked about how he installed accountability software. But yeah, this is the app that Josh Duggar was bragging about using, called Covenant Eyes, on his devices in order to abstain from internet porn and other unsavory websites. It scans all the activity on your phone or your devices, your laptop, what have you. We do all of it. Isn't this guy, he's like number 3? Isn't he like number 3 to the presidency? And he's installing spyware on his fucking computer? All right. Didn't you say people are inherently sexual? Well, of course we're inherently sexual. We have to reproduce. That doesn't mean you share your fucking pornography habits with your son. What the fuck are we talking about right now? What is happening? We're not defending this. What happened to shame? Okay? I thought that was a Christian thing, being ashamed. Right? We just need a little bit more shame. Just a motherfucking sprinkle of that shit, dude. You shouldn't be saying this with a straight fucking face. Like you're walking around with your fucking, dick out of your pants and like, oh, this is the new normal. No, it isn't. Put your dick away. I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear this. Oh, you share your pornography habits with your son. Thank you for your time. I'm going to go talk to somebody else. Just a sprinkle of shame once in a while. What if shame is my kink?
With Covenant Eyes within your home. And so why is that such an effective tool? Why do parents need to put this into their home?
Yeah, that's great question. We probably could have called this more appropriately a war on the darkness of technology, because there are some good things with technology, of course.
Okay, well, no, I mean, I'm not okay with that. I mean, like, it's okay for the dad to, like, have us, hey, son, this is sex. Treat a woman respectfully. No means no. Okay? But this is bizarre.
The Bible apps we all love, we broadcast our services, on our social media, and there's some very positive things, but there's also, as Clint's pointed out aptly, some really dark things. So Covenant Eyes is the software that we've been using a long time in our household. I first learned about it at, I think, a Promise Keepers event in the early 2000s. I think it was developed in about the year 2000. But it's the largest accountability software that there is, and there's some paperwork out there on the table that I think everybody may have picked up on the way in. If not, go get it. It's a subscription-based. I mean, we don't make any money on this. I'm telling you, we use it. Okay, I'm endorsing it because I'm a user. It's about $15 a month, $16 a month, something like that. And
you gotta pay for that shit? $15 a month? to have your okay. I guess I mean it would if it's like blocking pornography that would require money. I mean the so Covenant Eyes has a team of people watching pornography to make sure that it's Christian approved. Wow. Wait, how do we know? Wait, what? Like what? So no anal or what? No violent, sloppy toppy? Like what's the limit? Who's setting these limits? Is there some like thou shalt not watch white on black pornography in the fucking commandments? What?
You get up to 10 devices, and what it is accountability software. So men in a church, men's Bible study groups will do it. That's how it's presented at Promise Keepers. But they also mention, hey, when your kids become teenagers, especially if you have boys, dads, they're talking to the guys at this event.
Wow.
You might want to think about doing this with your sons. And so we've been doing that. And so what it does real simply is it has an algorithm and software. It's way above my head how it works, but
I don't know.
It scans. You obviously opt into it, but it scans all the activity on your phone or your devices, your laptop, tablet, what have you. We do all of it.
Dog.
And then it sends a report to your accountability partner. So my accountability partner right now is Jack, my son, right? And so he's 17. So he and I get a report of all the things that are on our phones or all of our devices once a week. If anything objectionable comes up, your accountability partner gets
this is bizarre, dude.
My son he's got a clean slate, all right?
This is so fucking bizarre, dude. This is so fucking bizarre. No, that's not cool, dude. That's not fucking cool, dude. I don't mean to be a Puritan here.
I want to talk about some social issues. You've got a lot of critics who say that you are wildly out of step with the American people. Let's talk abortion first. One of the groups opposing you says this. He wants a total abortion ban with no exceptions. He supported bans that would not only...
That was really cute. That little chuckle. I'm sorry to already pause, but that little chuckle right there when he's confronted with the fact that, hey, there's a lot of, even the conservatives disagree with certain stances. And he laughs at the very idea that that there are people that disagree with him. Wow. By the way, did you guys hear X's devaluation? I think what did they say? It's worth 16 billion now or something? 18 billion?
I want to talk about some social issues. You've got a lot of critics who say that you are wildly out of step with the American people. Let's talk abortion first. One of the groups opposing you says this.
Yeah, that's a cute little laugh there.
No exceptions. He supported bans that would not only criminalize abortion, but ban IVF treatments and common forms of birth control, and that you voted against access to contraception.
And he's not going to be on the table, with this thing stuck in him, this dead corpse, this dead fetus stuck in. Oh no, you can't do it. No abortion, no abortion. And could you imagine? You have a dead corpse in your body, and this Poindexter, looks up from his Bible and says, no, you have to suffer. You have to basically be on the threshold of death before I'll even consider helping you. I'll never have to experience what you're experiencing now. And I'm confident saying this. Yep. We're getting to that. We just started. I'll be getting to the testimony. Yep.
Where are you on these issues? Is that an accurate assessment of where you are? Because that's not in step with the American people.
No, Shannon, look, I'm pro-life. I've said very clearly, I'm a Bible-believing Christian. I believe in the sanctity of every single human life.
What's your fucking opinion on the Constitution, buddy?
So I come to Congress with deep, personally held convictions. But guess what? So do my 434 other colleagues in the House. Everyone comes to Congress with their deeply held convictions. But the process here is that you make law by consensus. And I've not brought forward any measure to address any of those issues. Right now, our priorities are funding the government, handling these massive national security priorities that we have and crises around the globe, and taking care of changing and reforming how Congress works. That's what we're going to do. Listen, prior to the modern
lots of change
until
coming up,
recently,
isn't there?
Almost all of our nation's leaders openly acknowledged that they were also Bible-believing Christians. I mean, this is not something that should cause great unrest, okay? It's just that Washington right now, what you're seeing, Washington and the Associated Press Corps are engaging with a leader who openly acknowledges faith and the foundational principles of our country.
Okay,
I think this is a healthy discussion, but it doesn't affect how we run Congress.
To be clear, though, have you voted against fertility treatments and...
I mean, the fuck it doesn't. What? Of course it affects. I mean, he's talking about he's talking about all of his entire worldview. That includes his policy proposals. And he's like, oh, this isn't going to affect you, though. I'm only literally going to shape every single law around my religious beliefs, but it's not going to affect you.
access to contraception? Would you?
I don't think so. I'm not sure what they're talking about. I really don't remember any of those
But
measures.
do you oppose anything
I am personally
with IVF
pro-life, yeah. No, of course not. No, that's something that's blessed a lot of families who have problems with fertility. Of course, that's a great thing. I would support that. But look, again, these are not issues that are on the front of the agenda, and we can come with our convictions, and we can govern in an accountable, transparent manner for the American people, and that's what we're going to do.
Okay.
Man, it's amazing with these guys. You literally just need to, whatever they say, just interpret it as the opposite. That's all you need to do right there, that last little bit right there.
And we can come with our convictions, and we can govern in an accountable, transparent manner for the American.
They have no intention on doing any of that. And look at the face. Look at the voice, the tone. It's going to be okay. I'll protect you, as he's literally dragging the knife across your neck. Oh, I love you. Without a hint of irony or shame. The founding fathers were extremely worried about men like Mike Johnson. That's why they built the Constitution the way that they did. Because of individuals like this who say, well, you know, government's important, but my family's more important, and my religion's more important than anything. And my religion is set in stone. There's literally no changing or flexibility on my religion. And that's how I'm basically going to govern, no matter what I say. Not true, Kim Goblin. Not true. Future's looking bright as long as we know how to fight, and we know who our enemies are, and we know what our convictions are. Because this man will gaslight you and say, oh, what do you mean? I'm just a good Christian. I believe in helping everybody, and I believe in the Word of God, and I believe in Jesus. Except every single fucking action you do goes against the teachings of Jesus Christ. Case in point right here. One of the first things he does insists that we give a $16 billion aid package to Israel. Why? I don't know. And where does that money coming from? Right out of the IRS. Immediately. First thing Mike Johnson does is hobble the IRS and help the corrupt oligarchs, aka the money changers. Look up the story of Jesus Christ and the money changers. And that's who Mike Johnson supports. Real quick, I'll just read a couple bits here. The Republican-controlled House is once again targeting the IRS, this time voting to cut some of the agency's funding to pay for $14.3 billion. Sorry, 14.3. I thought it was 16. I've seen 16 in other places. Emergency aid package for Israel. Once again, what was the 50 billion they got, like, you know, this year? We give them like 50 billion every year. Was that not enough? Whatever. The bill put forth by the House's newly minted Speaker, Mike Johnson, passed the House Thursday, but is unlikely to even get brought up for a vote in the Democrat-controlled Senate. Yeah, so he's not like literally a complete waste of time. And he's trying to, what is he? You have no leverage. You're throwing a massive poison pill to the Democrat controlled Senate. You're wasting everybody's time with this nonsense. You're cutting out Ukraine, all the Ukraine aid, of course, immediately making it all political and immediately making it into a stalemate. The thing that this article points out is that, hey, guess what? Cutting money to the IRS actually decreases the amount of tax money we get, because the IRS is, of course, bringing in more tax. So here's what it says. But Johnson's bill highlights how cutting funding from the IRS, which has been repeatedly proposed by Republicans, doesn't actually save money. In fact, the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office said Wednesday that cutting $14.3 billion from the IRS would increase the deficit by almost $12.5 billion over the next 10 years. Oh, who cares? And if that's true, fake news. And if it isn't fake news, then it doesn't matter. And if it does matter, then I didn't do it. Is Disneyland for Judaism? I wouldn't call Israel Disneyland. Bit of a dump. I don't mean to offend. I know. Anti-Semitism, look, it doesn't look that impressive. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jeff. Much love to the Israeli people that believe in peace with the Palestinians. But everything I've seen of Israel, the food, the cuisine, the locales. I'm sorry. Hey, it's not like I want to be visiting Palestine anytime soon, okay? It's not like I want to stroll down the beautiful streets of Gaza City, okay? Yes, I've heard of Hakeem, and I don't think I like Hakeem. That's who you're talking about. But just to be clear, I don't think I want to fucking tiptoe through the tulips in the West Bank either, okay? Fuck the whole desert. Fuck the desert. Okay, I want nothing to do with the desert. I like cold places. I like log cabins. I like maple syrup. Fuck a desert. All right? Everyone needs to move out of the fucking desert. Okay? Come on over to fucking Oklahoma. We got a Walmart. So anyway, that was the point of this article. If you want to read the whole thing, it's right here. But hey, jackass, cutting the funds to the IRS doesn't save money. They know that. They don't care. It's all about handouts to their corporate fucking money masters, the money changers. And he does it under the shroud and guise of religion. So, well, fiscal responsibility is being a good Christian. What? I thought everybody wanted to be a good Christian, just like me. Nakeem. No, I've never heard of him. Never heard of Nakam. I've never heard of Nakam. No. So here we go. Here's some red meat for everybody. If somehow you missed this on your normal news, perusing throughout the day, but we're doing a Trump update, so New Mexico, and I'm better off than any person in the Middle East. Yeah, no, and I'm not bragging here. I'm just trying to keep it real. Like this, because like Israeli nationalists honestly lie and pretend like Israel is like the greatest fucking place in the world. And I haven't seen it. Okay. I haven't seen it. Okay. But like I said, I'm biased. I hate the desert. I don't want to go to the desert. I want nothing to do with it. Yeah, I mean, we got to be careful with that kind of language, but I there's a lot of things I really vehemently disagree with on with Zionists and their worldview, because it just seems like it's a different flavor of religious fundamentalism. And it's all justified because of my book, and any argument from a Jewish person, a Muslim person, a Christian person, a fucking, Confucianist. Anytime we see, oh, my thing is 100% correct. I'm totally unflexible. You either bow before my shit or get out of my way or be destroyed. Obviously, I'm not down with that shit. And a lot of that mentality is represented in Zionism. True. I mean, the whole idea is pretty crazy, you know, that like it was a British colony and they just get to fucking, oh, it's chip, Peril, here you go. You know, here you go, chaps. Here's your new country. This is just some, you know, some desert we had in our back closet storage area. Here you go. The whole thing is fucking crazy, if you ask me. The whole British, you know, empire mentality of just like, oh, this is ours. It's like literally our possession. We can do whatever the fuck we want with it. You know, ignoring the fact that it's a country filled with hundreds of thousands to millions of people. So bizarre from the very beginning.
Part of the
Now, that doesn't mean that Israel doesn't, you know, we're too deep into this shit. We're not getting rid of Israel. So guess what, folks? We got to compromise, and that's where the two-state solution comes in. So just want to make all that clear before the bad actors pounce. Oh, what do you mean? Israel deserves to exist. Oh, defend herself, defend herself, defend herself. Oh, we deserve to exist. Yes, we can't, you know, what are we going to do with the millions of people that are there? Like, we need to compromise. Holy fuck. You know, so many bad actors. Just so many. Like, you to do anything about Israel, you have to, like, all these little caveats. You know, you have to be very, very clear because the bad actors are like waiting to pounce. Oh, see, you hate Jews. Oh, you hate Jews. Ah, see, I got you. It's like, no, I don't hate Jews. I just hate oppression and, you know, empire building. Okay. Oh, what do you mean? Well, so it's very frustrating as a political commentator to even talk about that. I was one of the few political commentators that had the balls to talk about the Israeli-Palestine conflict way before the fucking war started. So, but it's always frustrating because the bad actors on the left and the right, by the way, are waiting to pounce with their bad actor arguments. Oh, you see, oh, you support Hamas, or you support the Zionists. Oh, blah, blah, blah.
This strategy is not only just going
frustrating.
on monologues,
it's tiring.
It seems, from the stand somewhat, but also not even answering the questions, which is what has brought about this admonishment from the judge. Let me bring in David Chalian, CNN's.
Okay, I don't know what the deal is with my volume. I'm using this JBL speaker, but it's making the volume on my OBS all funky. So I'm going to switch over to this real quick. 1 second. Let me just readjust the volume.
Political director on this. And here's a quote for you, David.
I knew that would be the case. I knew it would be way too fucking loud for you. So 1 second here. Sorry about that.
Just showing, as Kristen was saying, how the legal and the political,
there we go.
In terms of the campaign, they've become the same thing.
I keep thinking this guy's Jeffrey Toobin, man. This is so unfortunate that Jeffrey Toobin got caught masturbating on camera. He looks like Jeffrey Toobin's fucking long-lost brother.
Here's the quote from Trump. I'm sure the judge will rule against me because he always rules against me, says Trump. That sounds very familiar from what we've heard from the campaign.
Poor Trumpy.
You hear it all the time in the campaign trail. And the judge, of course, as you guys noted earlier, said that's not factually true to Donald Trump, who was on the stand there. You can't separate these two. This is the dominant frontrunner for the Republican nomination and the currently leading candidate to be elected president next year, running against the incumbent Joe Biden, according to recent polls. And yet he finds himself on this day in this courtroom in this historic nature. And guys, I don't think it is despite his legal challenges that he is still maintaining this lead. I think it is in part because of them. We have seen Donald Trump be able to utilize his legal peril, his legal challenges as a fortifying force for Republicans. And that is what we see in all the public data.
So the point is finally being made. I didn't really think about this. So it's interesting now that people are kind of catching on that. It looks like it might be some kind of strategy to get the judge angry enough to, you know, make some kind of legitimate argument that the judge is being biased, or, you know, that there should be a mistrial or a new judge to further delay the case. So that might be part of the strategy here, maybe. Yes, we will be talking about that in excruciating detail coming up.
there, which is this fortified world of Republicans around Trump, both in the primary context and how that benefits him in a general election context, whereas Joe Biden does not have that fortified force among Democrats. So these trials are playing directly into his hands here.
Absolutely. David, stand by. Let's get back out to the courthouse. Paula Reed's got some more detail from inside. What's happening?
This is getting pretty heated. The judge asking Trump's lawyer, quote, "Can you control your client? This is not a political rally." This coming from our colleagues who are inside the courtroom watching this live. The judge forcing Trump's
he's gish galloped and fucking and talked over and gaslit his entire life, dude. And in a court of law, that shit just doesn't fucking fly, man. He's like, oh, I can't just make shit up and people just agree with me. What the fuck?
lawyer, Chris Kise, to talk
yes, Biden
to the
should
former
drop out.
president. The former president,
Biden
we're
should
reading
drop
here, apparently waved his arms at any suggestion of taking a 10-minute break. He is sitting back in his chair, we're told, just pursing his lips in that sort of classic Trump smile. Trump's lawyer is assuring the judge that their client, quote, understands the rules. The judge shot back and said, well, he doesn't abide by them. Now, apparently, they're back into questioning, but this is getting pretty heated. If there was any question about whether the former president could remain composed on the stand, refrain from attacking prosecutors, the judge, well, it's pretty clear. He and the judge sort of getting into it here. The judge is especially frustrated with Trump's inability to focus and his lack of brevity. I mean, something that we've all seen many times with the former president, but when you're on the witness stand, it's different. This is not social media. This is not a campaign rally. This is the judge's courtroom, and he has repeatedly asked the former president not to engage in, quote, speeches or essays. It looks like they're continuing with questioning.
Who would run if
they're
not Biden?
Taking a break, and
obviously, you know, so the progressive in me would be like, oh, Bernie Sanders, AOC, you know, but let's be realistic. MSNBC, you know, is not gonna. We saw what happened in 2016. That doesn't mean we shouldn't try, but I don't, you know, I don't see a progressive or a real progressive hopping in this. Cornel West, you know, for example. The reason why is that the mainstream won't accept it, and it's honestly too late. I don't know, maybe it's not too late, but for Cornel West, he finally decided to challenge Biden directly and run as a Democrat, or I guess as an independent, instead of running as a fucking Green Party candidate. But to answer your question, not that I support him per se, because I think he's a corrupt, greasy sleazebag, but I think the best mainstream option to replace Biden would be Gavin Newsom. Because what do we need? We need somebody who the mainstream is going to accept so that they don't go full 2016 on that candidate. And they would gladly accept Gavin Newsom. He's charming. He's, you know, handsome and funny and all that shit. So the media would eat it up. So they would accept it. They wouldn't resist it. And he'd be able to stand his ground in the debates. Because, I mean, Biden versus Trump, it's going to be a disaster. And likely Biden is only going to do one debate against Trump. We'll be lucky to get one. And it'll probably be super early in the campaign. And then he's going to go into fucking hiding. He's going to go into a 20 fucking floor deep vault and disappear. Like Biden, like a fucking wet fart in the air, dude, just gone. For the rest of the campaign. That's what Biden's plan is, because that's what worked last time, and that's how stupid the fucking neoliberals are. You know, oh, well, it worked last time. Hillary. All right, let's keep this moving.
Former president's lawyer assuring the judge that his client understands the rules.
All right, Paula, keep us posted because...
Yeah, keep us posted, whatever. I got more shit to move on to. I found this to be hilarious. Letitia James seen, quote unquote, visibly cackling. This is so absurd. Trump makes everything absurd. Who is this guy? Who is this fucking guy, dude? People, there's going to be individuals in our life that are going to try to emulate this guy. They'll never be able to catch the magic. It's like he was formed from all the negative traits of America. Like the seeping, dripping bile, right? And then in the sludge pile, right? And then emerged this orange monstrosity, a concoction of every toxic American exceptionalist trait, right? Thank you for following Planet's Burno. Planet Tasburno? Planet Tasburno? Cool name. So I thought this was funny. New York Attorney General Letitia James burst into laughter at one of Donald Trump's insults during his testimony in a $250 million fraud lawsuit. The former president was asked about the value of his heavily mortgaged Trump building at 40 Wall Street, and he told prosecutor Kevin Wallace that he had invested heavily in the 72-story skyscraper before taking a swipe at the attorney general. So he's saying it's not devaluation. I put in lots of money into that building. It's interesting though, because when I have problems with mortgages, I just sell some of my greenhouses. I'm good to go. So I'm sure Trump has a couple greenhouses, and probably some red hotels. I'm sure he could just sell those to pay off a mortgage, right? I wonder what the problem is. Bruno. Oh, thank you. James was visibly cackling after Trump's remark, according to reporters in the courtroom, and she briefly put her head down to compose herself. The Attorney General's office is next door to the Trump building, and James pointed out that in a post on her X account. God, I hate saying X. It's so awkward. It's so terrible. Elon, I hate you, dude. I hate you. I hate you, Elon. There's nothing redeeming about you, dude. There's nothing redeeming about you, Elon. Just make everything worse, dude. She said, "Don't tell. I can see it from my office window." Winky face, smiley face thing. Big props to you, boy, Woke Patriot, once again for just say Twitter. I should. Yeah, you're right. What am I tripping about? Oh, by the way, Chem Goblin, wanted to give you extra special props for the tips on airflow. You were right from the beginning. So good job, Chem Goblin, on diagnosing that problem. Big props to your boy Woke Patriot for posting this article here. We got ourselves another New York Times opinion piece. The title was originally "How the Republicans Have Embraced Nihilism" or something like that, but they changed the title, like they often do, to try to tickle the algorithm. But we have 5 mentions of nihilism in this article. If you're new to the channel, the reason why I call myself Abandoned Nihilism, aka the Harbinger, I'm super edgy, but it's in the name, Abandoned Nihilism. I believe nihilism is a cancer that is infecting the world, the embrace of nihilism, instead of the embrace of extension or I can't say it for some reason. I really can't say it at the moment. I can't believe I can't say it. Wow, I'm having a complete brain fart right now. Sorry. I just heard a noise outside and I'm focusing right now. Anyway, I believe nihilism is a cancer taking over the world. And we need to do something about it. We need to fight against it. Yeah, my head's in a cloud right now. But honestly, I'm really encouraged to see people talking about the main source of the issue. Break up the word if it's hard. I'm just in one of those moods. I worked all day. I've been up since 8 o'clock. I've smoked like 6 joints. I'm just in one of those moods, I just can't speak right now. But I'd love to see this. Maybe Saturday I'll go through and read this, because obviously I'm having mental problems right now. I want to say extensionalism, but no, it's completely wrong. It's not sounding correct in my head. There's absurdism, there's nihilism, and it's like only 6 rookie numbers. I took a nap. Yeah, exactly. See, you guys you know what I'm talking about. I can't say it right now. I'm having existentialism. I'm just having one hell of a time saying it. But anyway, I'll give this a read. Here's an archive, by the way, of it. You don't need a New York Times subscription to read this. But I think I'll read this on Saturday, because it's just further making my point that the embrace of nihilism is destroying society, not just here but everywhere. And it's obviously we're seeing the MAGA template being applied in Canada, in the UK, in Australia. They're seeing, wow, this is a really great way to destroy democracy. Just be a shameless bad actor, and use, as fascists love to do, use the rules and laws of democracy to subvert it and destroy it eventually. So I like to see the awareness here. So I'll give this a read on Saturday by Peter Wiener, Wehner. Werner. I'm gonna say Wiener, but listen to this. Look at this guy. So he's a right winger. He's a right winger, and he's over here saying my party is embracing nihilism. There's no future. Well, I mean, the party is hedging its bets. Going for a blunt right now. The party is hedging its bets that, look, we're not going to change. We're not going to modify our policies or what we believe in to fit the new generation. We're going to force the new generation to conform to us, and we're going to do that through authoritarianism. It's obvious to anybody that's observing this, that's watching this. That's probably why you're here. It's an incredible problem. So I'm looking forward to reading this on Saturday. So look forward to that. Make sure this is in my Discord. Alrighty. This is depressing and hilarious, but mainly depressing. The main thing that I want you to take away from this is that the only way to defeat these people, it's not with a cogent argument. It's not with sourced material. It's not with information that is going to change their mind. You're not changing their mind. We saw the attempt of a full-blown coup with the intent of destroying democracy. And here we see tens of millions of Americans. Yes, that's what I want. Destroy my democracy, install a dictatorship. They wouldn't agree with that characterization, but they would go along with it, and they would be like, "Oh, this is great. Wow, Republicans are going to be in charge forever." Until their liberties start getting taken away, right? And it wouldn't be long. But what we need to do to defeat these people is participate in the system. To the lefties that are waiting for a revolution, that are waiting or waiting for the end of society, stop what you're doing, and for the love of God, follow my easy, simple 3-step program to create political change. Step 1, inform yourself. That's why you're here. Step 2, join a progressive political organization, a union, run for office, something. Put your name down. And step 3, you got to put in the work. Okay, look, they're putting in the work. They're putting in the work. The right wing is putting in the work. They're hell bent on slitting the throat of Lady Liberty, and they got really close. They got really close. A very solid argument could be made that if this man, or even if the next Republican in general, gets in office, that will be the last Democratic election in the United States. Oh, we'll still have elections. but only one party will win. It'll be just like the banana republics we see in Africa and other places where they do these sham elections. Participation goes down and down and down because everyone knows the truth. And then just society gets worse and worse and worse and worse. So that's what I want your takeaway from this to be. That you're never going to change their mind. We need to defeat them politically. And my 3-step program is a legitimate way. It's called political activism. It's called dissent. It's call it whatever the fuck you want. I call it getting off your dick and getting something done. All right. Enough philosophizing, right? Enough of that. Did I say that correctly? Probably not.
There is nobody that can help us more than Trump.
Exactly, Planet.
I would rather have a presidential nominee who's
but
not.
it's not just Trump. It is the GOP that is now MAGA. It is not just Trump. Thank you, Kim. I have imposter syndrome so bad now after my brain fart that I just want to shut down the stream and run away and hide and eat a Lunchable. Where's my Lunchable? I'm going to eat a Lunchable. Look, guys, I have a Lunchable. It's a delicious Lunchable. I should eat it. I feel disgusting.
Been indicted or who has not been convicted.
People aren't willing to say something against Trump for fear of losing their party votes.
The era of Trumpism has moved to an even darker phase. The former president in legal peril.
I am willing to go to jail if that's what it takes.
And yet, he still remains the leading Republican candidate for next year's presidential elections. The conservative movement is split between a majority loyal to Trump
Let's go, Donald Trump!
and a minority looking for a way out.
Would you vote for Trump in a general election?
I don't know.
And with the party...
Coward. You're a coward. You're a partisan coward.
In disarray, what will the consequences be as we enter election?
Because you know why you say I don't know? Because you're like, well, if all my friends are doing it, I guess I'll do it. You're a fucking coward. You don't stand for anything.
Season.
This is President Trump's party. Yep, thank you.
He's not wrong.
We've come to South Carolina, one of the early voting primary states, where polls say Trump holds a commanding lead.
We're heading out to meet some people at the Greenville County GOP, which is the largest Republican party in the whole of South Carolina. And it's been taken over by a far-right Trumpist insurgency.
Its state executive committeeman is
Shit, dude, I thought he was holding a bloody knife for a second, dude. I thought he was holding a bloody fucking butcher knife for a second.
Jeff Davis, who openly expresses disdain for so-called rhinos.
Everett Hadley, rhino, censure me.
Meaning Republican in name only.
Oliver.
Hey,
Jeff Davis.
How you doing?
Glad you're here.
South Carolina, Trump country.
It is Trump country. They're reporting South Carolina is between what, Teflon and titanium, as in regards to Trump. So
which one is it? I feel like titanium is a bit stronger than Teflon.
I think it would be titanium. Though.
Yeah.
So
have you got a photograph of the two of you together?
Yeah.
Rhino stands for Republicans in name only. It's a way to say, this person says they're Republican, but they're not. They're not fascist enough, basically. Oh, I'm way more fascist than he is. He's a rhino.
You got the picture with Donald Trump in the rally on March 3rd? So she actually was more excited because Laura Trump was there. So she's more into the fashion than what the ladies do. So I was a fan of Donald Trump from the Art of the Deal. Olga's more of a fan of Donald Trump from
Apprentices.
The Apprentice.
Although the Republican primary hasn't even started yet, most people here express an undying loyalty to one man and to the many conspiracy theories that surround his candidacy.
There is nobody, in my mind, there is nobody that can help us more than Trump can. I do wish the Republican candidates would just get behind him.
Have you read any of the indictments yet?
I have not read it personally. I have gotten my information from different news sources, a number of different news sources. My favorite is Real America's Voice. That's my favorite.
A lot of people were quite disturbed by that, all around the world, also here.
Disturbed that he's indicted?
Disturbed that he still has that level of support despite all of these indictments.
Well, because these indictments...
They're all fake.
There's nothing in any of these indictments. They're indicting him on things that are perfectly legal.
He told him to find him some votes. That's what he told.
I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't know if it's perfectly legal to say your building is worth, it's worth $5 million, when in actuality it's worth $1 million. Pretty sure that's textbook fraud. About the farthest you could get from perfect. Well, whatever.
Told him, wasn't it?
Oh, fine. He can say that. I mean, you know, he can. So what?
Make up votes.
He didn't say make
Or
up votes.
falsify
He
votes.
said find some votes. Check this thing out.
So I watched a clip from the Patriot last night, and I found out where "hold the line" comes from. So that's our new expression. We're holding the line. They're beautiful.
Oh yeah,
Are they functional?
Yeah,
Of course they are.
Wait. Yeah, hold the line. That thing that Trump said after Charlottesville, that incredibly racist march. I mean, the irony is physically hurting my body right now. I'm actually, I feel like I'm being crushed.
So you haven't listened to that tape or read any of the indictments or anything?
No, because there's no benefit to me, because the people who are behind it are people I don't trust. I don't think he's a criminal. I don't think he would hurt our country. Being attacked by your political adversaries is not unusual. I mean, it happened to Nelson Mandela, it happened to Martin Luther King, it happened to Gandhi.
A lot of people in the country find it quite chilling. They find it pretty scary.
Well, I'm sure they're all Democrats and rhinos. So,
it's all fake news.
What do you expect? Yeah.
It's all fake. They're all
You're asking
fake. All
questions based on a
liars.
false premise.
Uh-huh.
So, what is it that you really want?
Me?
Yeah.
I just want to ask a question.
Bro, where's the beer? Where's the weed? What is this party? Everyone's stone cold sober, talking about how they love Donald Trump. What the fuck is this?
False premise.
I don't see any beers. I don't see any cigarettes. I don't see any weed. This is the shittiest party in the United States.
Uh-huh.
So, what is it that you really want?
Me?
Yeah.
I just want to ask a question.
Do you want the truth?
Yeah,
You
sure.
do? Okay.
Yeah, well, I want to hear what you guys
Yeah.
do.
So,
yeah.
you know who is the truth? There is one person that is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Good job,
Jesus.
Okay. Who said that? Okay.
But yeah.
Some here are sympathetic to the far-right wing of the state Republican Party, a local freedom caucus, which has pushed some of the harshest local legislation in the country.
I'll ask you very specifically about one piece of legislation that a number of people in that caucus backed, which is
Not
changes
even
to
beers,
abortion laws
dude.
here. And the idea that women who get abortions should be prosecuted for homicide and could face the death penalty. Is that something that you supported?
I do support that. I support it in the sense of I think we ought to have, I would like to see South Carolina as the most conservative state in the nation.
So you would support the death penalty for a woman who took an abortion?
I don't know how it would be implemented, quite frankly.
That's totalitarianism. That's going beyond really anything that exists inside the sort of regular parameters of any democratic state. That's totalitarianism.
I think people have a choice. You have a choice to practice safe sex and the such. So you have a choice, initially.
And Donald Trump is the only candidate running for president who you believe will embody those sorts of extremes?
I think Donald Trump, I hate to say those extremes, I think what Donald Trump is willing to do is actually speak out against the establishment.
All right. Looks like they got some food.
It's extremely dark.
Beer?
Extremely dark.
I left with concerns that the group was stifling political debate. And in fact, a group of outcast conservatives, once part of this party,
who's
formed
the
their
one?
own independent group,
The one
called
true?
the 4th District Republican Club.
Jesus.
They invited us to come and meet them at a local Denny's.
I'm a normal
Welcome,
person.
you guys. I'm Linda Garner.
Hi, Linda.
4th District.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Yeah,
How
nice
you doing?
meeting you. Nice meeting you.
I'm Oliver.
Yeah.
This is Tom.
Yeah.
How you doing? Good to see you.
Yeah. You can
Many here have been committed Republicans for decades.
A lot of people in this room were very active in the Greenville County Republican Party, and 2 years ago they got new leadership. Several of us didn't really feel welcome there.
That group a little bit too extreme for you?
Yes, a little bit extreme.
Do you think that's a consequence of Donald Trump? These guys are very, very loyal to him.
Yeah, I don't understand why there's that feeling.
Ninja.
Would you vote for Trump in a general election?
I don't know.
Their actions speak words and a lot of volume, so yeah.
Is that Marilyn Monroe?
A lot of volume, yeah, absolutely.
I do appreciate you guys coming, and I went on your site today and read some of your publications and was very impressed.
Well, thank you very much.
You've never heard of The Guardian? Wow. Wow, folks, we got some catching up to do. The boomers have some catching up to do. The Guardian? I thought that was Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
He's my guardian.
The group had invited a state Republican representative called Jason Elliott to speak. He's also the first openly gay person to be elected to the legislature in South Carolina.
Some of those folks in the county GOP here are talking about absolute undying loyalty to Donald Trump. The idea that voting for anybody else is essentially disloyal.
Strategy, you're so right.
With that.
Well, that's not the way the Republican Party works, and that's not the way
There's a
democracy
teenager wearing a bow tie.
little D works. If we were to subscribe to the viewpoint that it's disloyal and we need to coronate somebody, we might as well just cancel all the primaries.
Yeah, that's the
Elections
point,
are about the future,
jackass.
And if we relitigate the 2020 election, and if we relitigate
doesn't have a
January
chance.
6th, the Republicans are going to have a hard time regaining.
This guy doesn't have a fucking chance. You're fucked. Oh, you're gay as well? Okay, here you go. There's the door. Thank you so much. Anyway, can some psycho Louis Gohmert emulator please come out, please?
The White House.
Would you still vote for Donald Trump if he's the nominee, though?
I'm voting for the nominee of the Republican Party.
So you would still vote?
Oh, yeah. Look at that fucking face. They're called principles, sir. The reason why you don't know what they look like is because you never had them, and I guess you never will. So you're going to vote for Trump again, right? I'm going to vote for the nominee of my party. I think the party needs to change. I think we got to go in a different direction as a party. Yeah. So you're going to go with the status quo? Yep. Yeah, I'm going to do what I'm told. I'm going to do what I'm told.
Vote for Donald Trump.
That sentiment was expressed by most
in a motherfucking Denny's. Oh, that's a perfect place to be pathetic, though. That's the ideal place to be fucking disgusting. Food is atrocious.
people
Denny's
I spoke to here. And although this is a staunchly conservative part of the state, there are local Democrats trying to change that. In the nearby small town of Pickens, in an unusual move, Trump took over the entire downtown to hold a rally and left the county with almost $40,000 worth of bills. The local Democrats are led by Richard Byrd in Claiborne, Linville, and they've actually increased their membership in recent years.
Are you ready, Richard?
I'm Richard.
Nice to meet you, Richard. I'm Oliver.
I'm Democrat on county council.
Hi, I'm Claiborne.
Presidential year, I tried to compare, apples to apples here. Presidential year in 16 to 2020, and huge increase for us.
So the Trump era, in some respects, has kind of bolstered Democratic turnout in what is a pretty conservative part.
So, folks, this is step 2 and step 3. But do you see these guys are working? They're in the reddest of it's as red as a baboon's ass, right? And here they are, still trying. Now, I don't agree with the Democratic Party or the neoliberal status quo, of course. I push against it. But I do think that we need to assimilate it. I don't think the solution is to create a new party and then convince the Democrats or the Republicans to include that party in the electoral college process. I think it's going to be a lot easier to convert the Democratic Party into a progressive party through electoralism, through Democratic challenges, primaries. And this is how you do it. This is how you get involved, right? So this is step 2 and step 3. And folks, it doesn't have to be your whole life. A couple hours a week, maybe, a couple hours a month. You can make a difference. It's not impossible.
Of the country.
Well, of course, you hate to give him credit for anything except maybe the wrongdoing. But yeah, I'm sure that's been part of it.
Behind the courthouse where he spoke is a war memorial commemorating residents who were killed.
It's really frustrating, and it's certainly disrespectful to speak at a place so close to where these county residents are honored.
Do you think there are colleagues of yours on the council and in the county party who are fearful about actually expressing their honest opinions about Donald Trump?
I think so. I think in private, I'm able to have open conversations with people that they can have with me that they will not say out loud. But I think part of the reason that his rally here has been paid for and brushed aside is because people aren't willing to say something against Trump for fear of losing their party votes.
Okay. Are you going to call them cowards? Are you going to aggressively push against them? Are you going to make an aggressive argument as to why you're better? Or are you just going to, quietly stand in the corner and say please and thank you while the fascists march all over our democracy? This is my problem with Democrats. You seem like a nice person, and that's a problem. Because you know what we need? We need a motherfucking a warrior. We need fighters. We don't need nice folks. We need people that are willing to call out the fascism and push back against it angrily. But get a little angry about this shit. I get it though, man. It's hard to get a 70-year-old to vote for you if you're a piss and vinegar. I get it.
Aren't willing to say something against Trump for fear of losing their party votes.
We did not hold Richard Nixon accountable 50 years ago. And this is part of what's been wrought as a result of that.
He's right.
And if we don't hold this person accountable...
No, he's 100% correct. Because the Nixon administration's when we set the precedent that it's okay for the president to commit crimes and get away with it. He got pardoned. And a little slap on the wrist. Yeah, he had to step down, but he didn't, should have gone to jail.
Accountable now, I can't even imagine how bad the next iteration of this kind of behavior for this nation and
He's right.
the effects, the ripple effect throughout the world will be.
Right.
It's got to be done.
Walter
My
White.
last stop was a drive down to Charleston for a rally with Donald Trump.
Oh, here we go.
Merchandise branded with Trump's
I thought the whole video was going to be this. I didn't know we were going to get all this other info was good, but I thought we were going to get more of this. But let's enjoy it while it lasts.
Selling fast.
That'll be 140. Come on, all shirts are $10, y'all. Medium, come on, honey. You act like you buying a car.
The Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene has become a superstar at these events now, which are no longer really about the party, but about one man and the political and legal chaos that surrounds him. And she, like Trump, is claiming this primary is already over.
Just wanted to ask you, some reports saying that you're encouraging the rest of the Republican presidential primary field to drop out the race. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. I think the American people are making it clear that they want President Trump back, so the debate's pretty much over. If you see
hasn't been a single ballot cast in this primary yet, though.
See all the polling. You can ask, hey, are you guys supporting President Trump? President Trump?
Yeah. We're at a Trump rally, so one would expect that. Basically, your position that this party is Trump's party, there's no room for debate, no room for discussion.
This is President Trump's party. Yep, thank you.
That's my president!
Yeah! Let's go, Donald Trump!
But we're going to win that primary big. We won the state twice by record numbers.
It's not really my job as a journalist to predict the outcome of elections, but during my time in South Carolina, I've seen very little evidence that anybody else has much of a chance of securing the nomination here. A lot of people are now saying the Republican Party has essentially become a cult personality around Donald Trump. It's becoming increasingly hard to find any evidence to suggest to the contrary.
Man's in his 80s. Donald Trump is in his 80s, folks. He's in his motherfucking 80s. So the last little segment today in our Trump section, I know, wake up, I know, but our last little segment is Morning Joe waking up to Project 2025, literally the Heritage Foundation's plan to install a dictator. Oh, he's 77, he's not 80 yet. Thank you for that correction strategy. But so Morning Joe finally waking up and talking about the blatant, naked attempt at installing a dictator and Project 2025. So I found this fascinating. Probably not going to watch this whole. Well, maybe. We'll see if there's 2 4-minute clips. We'll see how much Morning Joe I can stand. But I was watching this while I was working. I was like, oh, this is interesting. Morning Joe is finally waking up. She said Morning Joe drank some fucking Morning Joe and fucking woke up, is waking up to the idea that the Republicans are no longer a Democratic Party. No, Clutch Cargo, because what you saw there doesn't represent all of America. What you saw there represents a minority of the voting population. Republicans don't even make up 50% of people who vote. So, and the whole question is, who are these people? What is this party without Trump? When all you got left is Ron DeSantis and Ted Cruz, putting on their best Trump impersonation. What is left of this? The question is, can they install themselves? Can they install themselves, and create an undemocratic system that always picks them, regardless of how mediocre they are? Can they do that before Trump dies? Without Trump, the whole thing falls apart. There is a plan, Project 2025, where it's not just Trump, but any Republican. If any Republican gets into office in 2025, and I assume, this would be the plan. If 4 more years, we get 4 more years of Biden, this is the plan for what, 2028 or 2030. But this is a plan in black and white, naked as can be, how we're going to install a dictatorship. And of course, the plan is to install partisans at every level of decision making when it comes to challenging the vote or challenging the democratic process, right? We just install right-wing partisans at every level so that if we're ever challenged or we ever, there's any question, we'll just send it to them and they'll rubber stamp it and make us king forever, make the Republican Party, king of America forever, I guess. I mean, the whole thing, it's wildly unsustainable. And the question is, will the only other relevant political party stand up and actually do something about it? Will the Democrats, neoliberals, do anything about this? Anything? I mean, look at the joke that was the January 6th committee or whatever the fuck. They intentionally, had a bunch of Republicans run it. It went nowhere. They collected a bunch of interesting evidence. I will say that was sent to relevant parties, but that was the best the Democrats could come up with when faced with direct, naked treason, with seditious acts, planning and executing an attempted coup, an attempted disruption of the democratic process. There's no questioning why is Jim Jordan not in jail? You know what I mean? Why is Mike Johnson not in jail? A literal coup architect. He should be behind bars for treason. I'm not talking about a motherfucking traffic ticket here, okay? There's few crimes that are on the level of treason. And Mike Johnson qualifies. I'm not a lawyer, sure. But there are people much smarter than me who make much better arguments that say, yes, oh, absolutely, these people are 100% treasonous. So Morning Joe waking up from his motherfucking coma and addressing the elephant in the room. Now the real question is, because this is what MSNBC and ABC never do, is are you going to get Nancy Pelosi on air and say, hey, Nancy, you're not doing enough. Look at the poll numbers. Look at the reality of the situation, Nancy. Hakeem Jeffries. Look at the reality of the situation. You're not doing enough. How come you are not pressuring Joe Biden to step down and have Gavin Newsom or someone else step in? How come you're not even flirting around with that idea? You're just la la la. Well, we're just doing the same thing over and over again, and hopefully it'll be the same thing. And we're on the precipice of a full fascist takeover, but we're just going to do the same thing. We're not going to change anything. That's the next step. And I don't, I'll let you know if I see Morning Joe start doing that, but I have my doubts.
John Heilman, you have, I think, a pretty brilliant insight when it comes to why Democrats aren't more fired up about the threat of Donald Trump. Tell it to our viewers.
Well, I think to what David was just saying.
Sorry, I got my clips in a mixed up order. This is the first one I wanted to show you. Sorry.
From the Washington Post reveals former President Donald Trump and his allies have started mapping out specific plans to use the federal government, to punish his critics and opponents if he wins a second term in the White House. The plan has been dubbed Project 2025, and the Post reports that Trump has named individuals he wants to investigate or prosecute. Those people include former Chief of Staff John Kelly, former Attorney General Bill Barr, former attorney Ty Cobb, former Joint Chiefs of Staff.
Look, guys, it's all the people that said mean things about Trump. There's no coincidence, though. These are perfect accusations.
Chairman General Mark Milley. That's according to people who have talked to Trump and spoke on the condition of anonymity. A person familiar with the matter said Trump has also talked about prosecuting officials at the FBI and Justice Department.
I have a hard time with that word, too. Anonymity.
The Post reports the former president's associates have drafted plans to potentially invoke the Insurrection Act on his first day in office to allow Trump to deploy the military.
Just full-blown. Just immediately, day one, martial law, Insurrection Act, and then steamroll the rest of democracy. Day one.
Against civil demonstrations. Joining us now is one of the co-authors of that new report, national political reporter.
These are the things that he's saying.
At the Washington Post, Isaac Arnsdorf. Isaac, thank you so much for reporting on this. Tell us what else the former president plans to do if he wins re-election.
Well, simply put, he wants revenge. He wants to use the power of the federal government to punish his critics. And what's the crime that they committed? It's the crime of criticizing Donald Trump. But the big takeaway from our reporting is not just that he is saying this, it's that the people who are around him who are angling for a job in his second term are starting to come up with detailed implementation plans to actually do that. So that means that they will be staffing the White House with people who will carry out those orders, and that they will be eliminating the traditional insulation between the White House and the Justice Department to clear the way for Trump and his aides to be directly involved in criminal prosecutions.
See, that's exactly what I said, but he said it with a tie. So how come I don't get money? I said that shit.
Isaac, one of the other really...
I've been wearing this shirt 4 days now.
Attention-grabbing parts of your story is the Insurrection Act, which, of course, hasn't been invoked in quite some time, to say the least. And we know that the president and President Trump and his team considered it in the summer of 2020 during the George Floyd protests, which in many cases became anti-Donald Trump protests. But you've got new reporting that suggests that they might try to invoke it
again. It's my only shirt.
Soon after taking office to, I assume, quell the uprisings that would be against his election and inauguration. Tell us a little bit about that. How serious is this? Are they confident it could survive legal challenges? And frankly, just how unprecedented it would be?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So this is another thing where Trump has actually said publicly that he regrets not deploying the military in the summer of 2020. And if given another chance, he will not hesitate. So his associates, specifically Jeffrey Clark, the former Justice Department official who viewers will remember as co-conspirator 4 in the federal case and a co-defendant in the Georgia case, Jeffrey Clark is hearing this and is starting to work on a plan on day one, prepare a justification to invoke the Insurrection Act, which would empower the president to deploy the military domestically against civil unrest,
normal, guys.
Temporarily suspending
totally normal
posse
shit,
comitatus. And you
totally
could try that to challenge that in court, but the reality on the ground would be not exactly martial law, but something in the neighborhood.
Totally normal, dudes.
Wow. The Washington Post, Isaac Arnsdorf, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Isaac, from the game Beyond Human or whatever. That game about the androids. You get the joke. All right, a little bit of this one.
I think you can characterize 2020 in a slightly different way, which is that
it was Detroit. Being human, Detroit. Being human, was that it? Had robots in it.
Biden had a degree of appeal to a bunch of people in the electorate, but a lot of the enthusiasm and the turnout, the fierce way that Democrats and non-aligned Democrats, but anti-Trump voters turned out in 2020 was because they thought Donald Trump had been president for
What the fuck, homie? Shut up. Shut up with your Wu-Tang Clan logo and your iPad case. Shut up.
4 years, and he was seen by black voters, a lot of Hispanic voters, a lot of young voters, a lot of people around the country. They'd seen what he could do in 4 years, and they thought another 4 years of Donald Trump was an existential threat. And so they rallied around Joe Biden as the
existentialism. There we go. Existentialism. I've redeemed myself. What more about Trump do you think Americans need to hear? No, I mean that was the whole preamble that I made, Clutch Cargo, is that there's nothing like space aliens could land, and get up to the microphone, Donald Trump is bad. Woo! And then fucking float away. And everyone would be like, fake news. Yo, that alien, dude, that's fake news. That's Joe Biden alien, dude. That was Joe Brandon coming out of that spaceship, dude. You're not convincing them. The only way to defeat them is politically. And if we don't defeat them politically, it's going to get violent in the streets. Okay, you think we're going to get power back? I mean, that's a big thing that the neoliberals think, is that, oh, well, if we lose, we'll just get them next time. No, bitch. And no, you're not bitches, but it's like to the neoliberals. No. You're not getting another chance. It's the end of democracy. We're not voting our way out of this. So you know what the alternative to voting is, right? Well, get on your motherfucking macaroni cap, dude, because we're getting in the fucking streets. And welcome back to the American Revolution 2.0. That's what the fuck's gonna happen. It's either that or acquiesce to tyranny. Which one is it?
The most a credible and plausible opponent to Trump. What a lot of Democratic strategists and people inside the world that now are doing a lot of not just quantitative but qualitative work in the field, doing focus groups right now, talking to these Democratic voters and asking them why they don't love Joe Biden, why they look at the state of the economy or what Biden's accomplishments or everything else, and why are they not with him? Why has he eroded so much in those groups? And what they find kind of confoundingly, everyone on this panel is going to say, are you kidding me? We've seen the polls, but a lot of average, ordinary, normal, workaday Americans, Democrats, are asked in focus groups. They just say, well, Donald Trump's never going to be the nominee. We don't have to worry about that. That guy, they have no idea. And I think it's helpful to remind people that we talk about Trump's poll numbers all day long on cable.
This is a well-known phenomenon with the current, Democratic voting base. When their person is in, they go to sleep. They go bye-bye. They go bedtime.
And no one Not no one, thank God.
They only do one thing politically. They do one political thing a year.
This goes back to the thing of why these numbers don't matter that much a year away, is because most voters do not tune into presidential politics until around Labor Day of an election year. And what they know basically is Donald Trump's in court, right? That guy's got arrested. He's maybe going to jail. Right. That guy could never be the Republican nominee. And if you don't think Trump is going to be the nominee, you don't see it as an existential threat yet. Right. And so you can kind of afford to be loose in your support for Joe Biden because, Trump will be the nominee. That's impossible. And Democrats in the White House, they hear this all the time. Yeah. They hear it all the time. And they got to turn that around. I don't want to agree
with you, Clutch.
I'm actually laughing.
I don't want to agree with you. And we're done with this clip. Thank you, Joe. You get the point of that. Here's the last little bit for my thing. It's just a veteran political scientist predicts how Trump-Biden polling will evolve. So this is good because look, I mean, polling this early is not accurate. Things do change once the election actually gets started. So let's hear from somebody who actually maybe knows what they're talking about. I don't know. Norman Ornstein. I've heard that name before. Norman Ornstein said he didn't want to, quote unquote, sugarcoat recent polls and the reason behind the numbers, which, quote, we will have to explore for many years. Okay, wow, nothing ominous about that. A longtime political scientist predicted that voters will feel differently about Donald Trump when it comes down to two clear choices on the ballot. Norman Ornstein, an emeritus scholar at the conservative think tank American Enterprise Institute. Okay, well, all right, big red flags. Massive red flags. No wonder I've heard of Norman Ornstein. If he's on the American fucking Enterprise Institute, then he's on cable news 24/7. Technically, Trump could rule from prison if he wanted, according to how the law is set on running for president. True. And I don't even know if I'm against that, because like we do have to be careful about stifling dissenting political opinions. We do have to be careful about that. About systemically stifling opposing political opinions. Especially if you want to see more socialism in the United States. Which I do. Not communism, socialism. Even though Marx used those terms interchangeably. Oh, okay, digress. Quote, one of the things I think is clear here is that most voters have paid no or little attention to Donald Trump's legal problems. That's really funny because cable news is 24/7 about this shit. Ornstein told MSNBC's Ali Veshley that, quote, that will change when we get criminal trials and especially if and when we get convictions. Really? Really? All of a sudden they're going to be interested? I mean, if the convictions lead to Trump being put behind in some kind of cell, right? Club fed. It'll be club fed. Let's be real. It'll be some country club jail. It'll probably be the nicest country club jail they can find for him, son of a bitch. It ain't going to be no motherfucking Rikers Island, I can tell you that. Even though that's what he deserves. Ornstein said a lot will change over the course of the next year. Quote, when we get down to two choices and we have one presidential candidate who is for a complete Muslim ban, who has supported and lunched with Nazis or neo-Nazis and who has criminal convictions, he said, noting that combined with the issue of abortion, voters may end up seeing things differently. Now, okay, I'm glad I showed this, but I'm also glad I didn't read it beforehand because this guy's fucking wrong. This is the old way of thinking. This is the Mitch McConnell brain. This is the Mitch McConnell. This is what's left of the Mitch McConnell intellectuals. This is hoping against hope. Ability to as much vote from being prisoner in a specific. Yeah, strategy. Yeah. Yeah. No. This is what he wants. But no. I mean, the fact is, right now, Muslim ban. No one's tripping. What's happening right now with Muslims in America is that they're not going to be voting for Joe Biden either because of his support for Israel. I've shown several articles about that, how, this is happening to Keir Starmer right now in the Labour Party in the UK. His steadfast support of Israel's, horrific war crimes has seen a massive drop in support from the Muslim community. Go figure. So yeah, no, I disagree with this guy. However, Ornstein said about Biden, that's not to sugarcoat a series of polls that show that for reasons that we have to explore for many years, a president who has had astonishing success in many areas. I mean, not really. I mean, that's the bar is so fucking low, and we got a Republican, we got a neoconservative over here with Mr. Ornstein, you know, trying to give Biden praise that it's astonishing success. The fuck it's been. Okay, ask that to a student, you know? What happened to my motherfucking COVID check? That was means tested out of a COVID check. I got more money from Donald Trump than from Joe Biden. So no, it hasn't been an astonishing success. Maybe if you're a rich Republican who likes tax cuts and bailouts for the rich and all that shit, yeah, maybe it has been an astonishing success. If you're Peter Thiel, I just don't understand how he has such low standing with the public. What do you mean? He hasn't provided shit, dude. I'm paying $60 fucking for a dozen eggs and a goddamn gallon of milk. Cost me $300 and a fucking mortgage to get my fucking car filled with gas. Oh, I just don't understand why people don't like hardcore capitalism, extreme exploitation. I just don't understand it. Joe Biden's doing everything that Reagan said to do, and I don't understand why people don't like that. Everyone loves the Gipper. This is where we're at. This is where we're at, and the neoliberals are just, they're like, well, we'll lean hard on the abortion stuff. We'll lean hard on the scandals and the arrests and whatnot, and we'll just do the Hillary Clinton thing where we don't really have to promise new, better lives. We just have to promise that we're not those guys, and that's good enough. And enough of you will be scared enough to show up to squeak us into victory. They're okay with a small little squeak victory. Okay, yeah. And they think if they lose, I'll get another shot. I'll get another shot at the ballot. It's okay. We'll get them next time. Everyone, they'll have another 4 years of Trump, and they'll be so sick of it, they'll vote for us super hard next time. They don't understand. They don't want to. It's like they don't want to understand. They don't want to understand, because if they understand, they got to radically change. We didn't get free money and simultaneously mad about inflation. Clutch Cargo, I disagree with the canard that we see on Bloomberg TV that the cause of inflation was the couple $100 that Americans received for COVID relief. Okay, you want to talk about causes of inflation? Let's talk about CEO compensation. How come you're not more riled up about CEO compensation than you are about taxpayers getting a little bit of that taxpayer money back when we desperately needed it? Huh? You're over here talking about how the COVID checks caused inflation. Who the fuck are you, dude? Jamie Dimon? I totally disagree with that, because that's the rich guy's argument, right? Oh, we gave you a little taste of sugar and there you go. Now you're addicted. We'll never do that again. Oh, you were suffering during COVID, didn't have a job? Oh, well, we should have, here's some bootstraps, never giving you money again, it caused inflation. Yeah, I disagree with that bullshit. Oh. Moving on to more fun. Ukraine. Moving on to Ukraine. Having fun now. Fuck a hoe. Fuck a hoe. Okay. Russian drones hit civilian targets in Ukraine's Kharkiv. The terror campaign the only way for terror campaigns to work is if they feel like they're never going to stop. So when you make that decision of we're doing a terror campaign, it's like there's no going back. You gotta see it through to the very end, to when the to the last minute, till the ceasefire is being signed. So that's how terror campaigns work. So it's never ending for the Ukrainian people. I'm so sick of it, man. So sick of it. NATO, NATO just what really? Are we really talking serious that all of a sudden what would change if NATO started using its air force? Clutch Carter, you're just wrong, dude. And I've actually shown some evidence to the contrary of that. It's a lie. It's a lie that the stimulus created our massive inflation issue. That it was the stimulus. It's a lie, dude. And I encourage you to look into it. I don't have time to do it. Maybe we'll have catch up, after the presidential election. If we fucking squeak by and get an extra 4 years of reprieve, or they try again in another 4 years. But no, I don't disagree that it did cause some inflation. I think some of the numbers do prove that. But the idea that, we wouldn't be in this issue if it wasn't for the stimulus is just not true. No, you are repeating talking points from the oligarchy, Clutch Cargo. It's not basic economics. Because if we were adhering to basic economics, we would be taxing the rich. Like we did in the 1940s, when it was like 80% tax rate for these guys. It's not basic economics. It's exploitation. It is, and it's a talking point from the oligarchy that the reason why we're in this mess is because of the stimulus. It's a total fucking lie. And here you are confidently repeating it. It's pretty sad, dude. Hello, Apple Saucer. That's a cool name. But I would look into the talking point that you're repeating, Clutch Cargo, because you're wrong. It did cause some inflation, but it's not the only source of inflation, and it's not the primary source of inflation. But it did cause some inflation, yes. All money printing causes inflation. But you want to talk about causes of inflation? Let's talk about ballooning CEO executive compensations, and the fact that some of the largest corporations in the United States don't pay any taxes. Yeah, great point, Strategy. Was that even printed? So yeah, here we see Putin's terror campaign. Another military target from Putin. Another military target attacked. This is interesting. So we're getting some footage now from, we're hearing that Ukrainian troops are pushing back against Wagner in Sudan. Why inflation only after the huge money printing? Why are you? This is what's fascinating to me. Clutch Cargo, do you acknowledge that there are other sources of inflation outside of money printing? And we had that question in the chat. Was it even money that was printed, or was it just money that was reallocated from other sources? Do we know that it was like a quantitative easing, money printing situation for the stimulus? But my question to you is, do you acknowledge that there are other sources of inflation, or is your assumption, your incorrect assumption, that all the inflation that we're seeing right now is because of the couple $100 that was sent Americans during COVID, 3 years ago? Was that almost 3 years ago? Do you acknowledge that there are other sources of inflation? Clearly you think it's literally the most egregious thing that ever happened was some Americans got some money back from the government. Okay, you're not answering the question. Could you please answer the question? Do you agree? Do you acknowledge that there are other sources of inflation outside of quote unquote money printing, which is what you think what happened during the, for the COVID stimulus? So anyway, Wagner fighting, Ukraine fighting Wagner in fucking Sudan. Pretty wild shit. Here we go. Nice music. Jesus, man. You don't got nothing? Oh. You're not answering the question, dude. You're not answering the question. And quite frankly, I don't mean to insult you, Clutch Cargo. You're not answering the question. And quite frankly, the fact that you keep repeating the same kind of basic shit that, like it's like saying you're an expert at business and then you get into the boardroom and you're like, buy low, sell high. Okay, well, what do we do about, our quarterly profits? And, here's the tip, Sonny. Buy low and sell high. Buy low and sell high. I'm good at business. That's kind of what you sound like right now. And you're straight up refusing to acknowledge that there are other sources of inflation. So far, you have not clarified this, but so far it sounds like you think the entirety of the inflation that we're experiencing is because Americans got a couple $100 in the mail 3 years ago. I mean, it's a joke, dude. What are you smoking, bro? It's basic economics. We should never give money back to the taxpayer. It should just go into the pockets of the billionaires. Duh. Oh, God, here he is. Welcome back, Marx, talking about his favorite subject, economics. Boy, once you get a Marxist going on economics, here we go. So we got Zelensky pushing back on the idea that Ukraine is in a stalemate. I'm just about there. I'm just about ready to agree that this is kind of a stalemate. I don't know. I mean, let's see what they got cooked up for the winter, because I think people are going to be surprised in the winter, because I think Russia is hoping that there's a pause, and I think Ukraine is planning on an aggressive push. That's what I'm hoping. I don't think it's cool to kill innocent civilians by the thousands, commit war crimes, and justify it as defense. So no, you're not going to find any love for the right-wing Israeli government here. So go ahead and find a different partisan stream. That's, because what a lot of these chatters are looking for, they're like, I'm looking for the pro-Israeli stuff. They're looking for bloodthirsty people. They're looking for people that are watching images of Gazan children being pulled out of rubble and saying good. That's what they're looking for when they're saying, I'm looking for a pro-Israeli stream. They're looking for someone who's bloodthirsty and is going to laugh at people dying. So no, I am pro-Israeli peace movement. I'm pro-Israeli citizens that want peace with Israel or want peace with the Palestinians. I am not pro-right-wing Israeli government. No, I'm not. But anyway, yeah, Zelensky over here, looking pretty goddamn sad, bro. Feeling pretty frustrated that, and I'm right there with him, Clutch Cargo, you still haven't answered my question, dude. We're not having a discussion until you answer my fucking question. Do you acknowledge there are other sources of inflation, dude? Could you please throw me a bone? Or do I just have to time you out and move on with my life? You're over here, buy low, sell high. I'm smart at business.
President Zelensky, thank you so much. Before you go, if you want to share, what keeps you going? Do you ever feel defeated?
I have. It was literally the first. You're not even listening to me, Clutch. I literally said the ballooning executive salaries, and the fact that multi-billion, multi-trillion-dollar corporations like Apple and AT&T don't pay any taxes. They in fact receive subsidies in some cases. Could it be that the billions upon billions and billions of dollars that's extracted from our economy and put into the pockets of rich men who don't spend it could be causing some of the inflation that we're seeing? Could it be?
I have a lot of power.
President Zelensky, thank you so much. Before you go, if you want to share, what keeps you going? Do you ever feel defeated?
I have a lot of power. But even feeling strong and have a lot of energy, it doesn't mean that we want to fight all our life, because the price is high, like I said, because the war takes the best of us, the best heroes.
All right.
The best.
Well, I guess I'm going to have to do an economic deep dive to prove you wrong, Clutch Cargo. Make sure you ignore it and just go back to, thinking exactly the way you want to think after I do that. But yeah, I'll take some time, maybe this week, and we'll do a deep dive on the causes of inflation. I hope you show up so that you can ignore every single fucking thing brought up and you just agree with yourself anyway, pretending like you're an expert at this shit. God damn. Yeah, guys, no. That's the cause of all of our problems, is that some poor people got some money from the government. Totally, dude. Yeah. I mean, Jeff Bezos has been extracting money from our economy the whole time. How come now there's a problem? Like the problem started, just a couple years ago. The economic problems we're experiencing have been going on since at least the Reagan era. But yeah, no, that's, yeah. Oh, yeah. Buy low, sell high, guys. I'm an expert.
Men, women, children.
Gee, thanks, Strategy. It almost sounds like Clutch Cargo doesn't even know what the fuck he's talking about. No, Clutch, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Look at what Strategy just pointed out. You're over here talking about, you're comparing the stimulus to printed money. They're not even printing money for it, dude. Do you feel foolish repeating talking points from the oligarchy? Do you feel foolish repeating talking points from billionaires that want nothing but to put you in chains?
That's it. But we are not ready to give our freedom to this terrorist Putin. That's it. That's why we are fighting. That's it.
President Zelensky, thank you so much for your time this morning. We really appreciate it.
Damn, dude, Zelensky keeping it fucking real, dude.
Freedom to this terrorist Putin. That's it. That's why we are fighting. That's it.
President Zelensky, thank you so much for your time this morning. We really appreciate it.
You see, now with Clutch Cargo here, I'm willing to acknowledge that the stimulus given to the American public did cause some inflation, because I have seen experts point that out. But his refusal to acknowledge that there are any other sources of inflation and strut around like he's an expert is really quite telling. Guys, you want to see the youngest the youngest this is nuts. So Ramzan Kadyrov, Zelensky was a comedian, a very funny one. He played the piano with his dick. It was very funny. So Ramzan Kadyrov has made his teenage son his top bodyguard after he beat up a detainee in a Russian prison. Wow. So Mr. Tough Guy Daddy's little boy beat up probably a handcuffed man, probably a man who was chained to his chair, Yeah, you're not being honest though, dude. That's my problem with you, dude. You're not being honest, Clutch. You legitimately don't even you're not even making a cogent argument. You're over here talking about printing money when you're criticizing the stimulus. We have proof in the chat from a trusted member of the chat pointing out that it wasn't printed. It wasn't money that was printed. It was loaned. So your whole argument is in shambles, and you're over here backing. I'm an expert. Oh, this up is up and down and buy low, sell high. I know what I'm talking about. While you're repeating fucking bog standard Jamie Dimon level oligarch talking points about the economy. I do coverage on the financial markets. I cover this shit. That doesn't mean I'm an expert, but I know for a fact it's not the main source of inflation. Hell no. So anyway, this uber badass, look at him, super badass, guys. So he wasn't chained to the chair. What a badass. Bad. Bad to the bone. I just read this as Dustin. Oh, Dustin. You're such a badass. I just wanted to report on that. I thought it was fucking funny. Lone, read the article, homie. I'll do a deep dive. You're dead fucking wrong, and I'm happy to do a deep dive to prove you wrong. The question is, are you going to absorb a single thing that I do when I cover it? Probably not. Well, fake news. This is my opinion. I'm not changing it. That's the question. Is that once I definitively prove you wrong, are you going to accept any of my conclusions? Nah. I still know what I'm talking about. All right. No, that is a bit of a straw man. But no, I don't think I think you're wrong, and you're like really like you're like really hard-headed on this one. Like, no, it was the stimulus. That's why eggs are fucking $300 an egg. I'm doing other subjects. I told you I will. And I don't see you acknowledge. See, this is the thing. Why should I spend time doing that when Strategy put an article in the fucking chat that's proving you wrong, and you're going hell and high water doing everything to ignore it, not acknowledging it. So why would I waste time? Why would I waste time doing that? Even when you have a link right there, you could be reading and following that link right now. Oh, I'm wrong. Oh, I've been repeating misinformation. I'm really worried about that. You're not worried about spreading misinformation. You're like, no, I can't be wrong. That's impossible. I can't be wrong. There's no other sources of inflation. It's only the stimulus. Okay, but all right. I'm waiting. You could be reading an article that's proving you wrong right now. I trust Strategy. Strategy, no, buddy. I trust Strategy. Smart fella. Smart chatter. You should be reading the article right now instead of talking shit in the chat. Because you should be concerned about spreading misinformation instead of trying to make wrong information reality. So this was the Kerch Bridge attack. It wasn't an attack on the bridge. It was an attack on a facility. Thank you, Strategy, once again. And we'll do a deep dive. You know, when you're in a hole, Cargo, when you're in a hole, buddy, it's best to stop digging. Just a little tip. Best to stop digging when you're in that hole. Just trying to tell you. But yeah, average Russian telegram reaction to this. It's fake. Nothing got hit. The pier was hit and the ship was undamaged. The missiles cost more than the repairs, so it's okay. Oh my God, the copium chem goblin. So yeah, this was the facility that was attacked by at least 2 cruise missiles. We're thinking at least 2, maybe more. And yeah, we're seeing some extensive damage here. So it's interesting. But yeah, no, Clutch Cargo. Make sure you show up. We'll do a deep dive. Calm down. Smoke a blunt. We'll do a deep dive on it. Because yes, unfortunately, you are wrong. It's not the sole, core, only source of inflation. It's not. There it is, boys. Ooh, that's a nasty one. That's a nasty one. I would like to remind everybody, Ukraine does not have a navy. They have been doing all this damage. They've been doing all this damage without a navy. I love that. Man, somebody take the shovel away from Clutch Cargo, please. This is getting uncomfortable. Someone take that shovel away from Clutch. He's way down in there. Hello in there. Hello. It puts the lotion on the skin, Clutch Cargo. So this is the last Ukrainian Russian video I have, and it's another really sad video from Russia. These are young guys, they're being lied to by their government. They're being told, you guys are powerful. Ukrainians don't know what they're doing. And they're getting slaughtered. We'll get back to you, Clutch. Take a breather, buddy. We'll get back to the subject, at a later stream. Okay, bud? Maybe take that time between streams to do a little digging so you can defend yourself a little bit better. Maybe you'll find the truth, once you do a deep dive on this. Because it is weird, dude. You are repeating talking points I've heard by fucking billionaires on Bloomberg. You're like literally repeating talking points by fucking fucking Rockefeller. You know what I mean? I think the Pauls need to stop with all their money. The Pauls need to give me all their money. That's a total straw man. I'm sorry. I'm just having fun. I'm just having fun at this point, Clutch Cargo, because you're like, you're so pissed. Okay, no, but seriously, this is sad. And I really wish, look, I mean, you put on a uniform, you're no longer innocent. You pick up a gun, you're no longer innocent. But these guys are naive, and it's just really just gross, just the loss of life. These guys are thrown into a blender, For what? For Putin? Clutch Cargo, that you're not waiting for a cogent argument. You were presented arguments, and you're picking apart little pieces when you should be reading the whole thing and kind of getting an understanding of what's going on, but you're not. You're desperately trying to defend your talking point. I'm just waiting for a coherent argument. You mean an argument that conforms to your preconceived notion? Is that what you're waiting for? Oh, just take a breather, bud. I get it. I'm acting very arrogant right now. I get it. You should be pissed, but trust me, you've been a long-time viewer. We'll do a deep dive on the causes of inflation. I promise. Okay. Hey, I trust Strategy Member. Strategy Member is a very well-informed, intelligent person representing them well in the chat here and in the Discord. I have no reason to believe that, but I do agree. So yeah, no, I'll do a deep dive. We'll just end it right there. Okay. We'll just agree to disagree. Okay. Walk away, but we'll do a deep dive on the causes of inflation. And you should be quite shocked, because you'll find that, yeah, no, it wasn't the stimulus, buddy. It wasn't. And of course it didn't just start with the stimulus. It's been an economic issue for like Like I said, since at least the Reagan era. You know, with devaluation of our currency because of money printing, you know, so you got, you know, you got pieces of it. You got pieces of it. But yeah, so these guys were, you know, celebrating being sent to fight in Ukraine, and almost the entire squad hit with a HIMARS strike. 120 people, soldiers, Russian soldiers, but people, destroyed in one HIMARS strike. You know, Putin, it's not worth it. Putin's not worth it. Putin's not worth it. Chem Goblin, you're technically correct. All right, everybody, let's stop with the juvenile insults. Okay, leave the juvenile insults to the host. But no, this is tragic. You know, yes, they put on a uniform, they picked up a gun, they said, "I'm going to go conquer this person's country." All the same, I think it's incredibly tragic. And you know, I want to see a world where the Russian citizen, the Israeli citizen, the Palestinian citizen are treated equally, you know, as human beings with inalienable human rights. But war, this is what war creates. And when you agree with war and you cheer on war and you join a war, this is the result. It's the loss of human life. And Jennifer Lopez and Mark Wahlberg or whatever the fuck. Right. Yeah, so we have ourselves a pro-Israeli troll in the chat. Welcome. Moving on to our Israeli Gaza coverage. Real quick, Mr. Pro-Israel there, do you think all the Palestinians should be just exiled, or do you think all the Palestinians should be murdered? Right? I mean, obviously, all the Palestinians need to be removed, right, from and just take over the whole country, obviously. But do you think they should be exiled or expatriated to Jordan, or Egypt, or do you think you should just kill them all? Should Israel just kill all the Palestinians? Could you answer that question for me? Chem Goblin, you're correct. I asked you a question. Hamas started it. They actually didn't start it, but I asked you a question. Guys, did you know the history started on October 7th? There was Israel was doing nothing to the Palestinians before October 7th. Did you guys know that? Answer the question, buddy. Do you advocate for killing all the Palestinians or just removing all the Palestinians from their country? Yes, Marx. Yes. Yeah, I think that's totally fair. Yeah. I think it's totally fair. Once again, okay, I didn't ask, and you know, I didn't ask. I asked you a very simple question. Do you want to kill all the Palestinians or exile all the Palestinians from their country? Obviously you don't want to two-state solution. But man, you're making that word has become so powerless. Anti-Semite. Oh no. We disagree with Israel's genocide. But answer the question. Yo man, answer the question. Obviously you don't want a two-state solution. We can't live together. We can't live together with the Palestinians, right? That's impossible. Yeah, no, you've only killed 1,000 people or 10,000 people, according to Hamas, as they all like to say. According to Hamas. We haven't killed 4,000 children. Not yet. We're on our way. Give us a couple more months. But Yeoman, you're not answering the question. I've asked you like 6 times. I'm going to ask you one more time before I ban you, buddy. Just because I like toying with my food. Do you, obviously you don't agree with a 2-state solution. You never want to live with the Palestinians. You want to remove the Palestinians from the country. We know that. You're like bragging about it on social media. So we all know that. The question is, do you want to expatriate all the Palestinians into Jordan or Egypt? Or do you want to kill them all? Okay, Palestinians are human beings and not kill them. Just Hamas. Okay. So you agree with a 2-state solution. You agree with a 2-state solution. You think Palestine should exist? That you want to share Jerusalem? Do you really want to share Jerusalem with the Palestinians? You don't, do you? Yeah, there it is, guys. There it is. So going back to my original question. So if Palestine didn't exist before Israel, it did, by the way, but this is the new lie, right? That it was always Israel's. And I guess the Palestinians were just keeping it warm for you. They're just keeping your country warm for you while you were off in Germany, I guess. So back to my original question. Do you think the Palestinians should be removed from their land completely? Do you think Israel should take over the entire region and the Palestinians should be removed and put into Jordan or Egypt? Is that what you believe? Yes or no? You don't want to kill them all. Hey, that's great. No. So 2-state solution. You're going to share Jerusalem. You're going to create a corridor between the West Bank and Gaza. You're going to let Palestine exist as a country. Is that what you're saying? 2-state solution. Is that what you're saying? Isn't it great how he's contradicting himself? Palestinians are humans, but it's our land. So once again, he who wins the war gets the land. Wow. So democratic, guys. So democratic. Yeoman, you might not be aware, Israel has never acknowledged the existence of Palestine. Israel has only acknowledged the existence of the PLO as a negotiating body. But it is a fact on paper that Israel has never, since its inception, its forced inception in the 40s, Israel has never accepted the existence of Palestine. Did you know that? Were you aware of that? Israel has never legitimately accepted the existence of Palestine, and yet it is demanding that from Palestinians. You're never going to get it from Hamas, but the PLO wants to talk. They've been wanting to talk for years. Silence. Silence. All right. I'm done entertaining it. I'll time this person out in a little bit. Let's get to our coverage here. I got to get going. Let's see here. Israel ambassador says military can't distinguish between civilians or terrorists in Gaza death toll. So as we've seen in the chat by our friendly Israeli troll here, human shields, it's all justified, human shields. So here we have the Israeli ambassador admitting that they don't have the ability to distinguish between innocent civilians and terrorists. They just blow up a region and cross their fingers and hope that they got some terrorists. Did we get some of them? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We can't verify. So they're just blowing everybody up, hoping that they get them. They're not even checking. They don't know. Israeli ambassador to the U.S., Michael Herzog, said on Sunday the Israeli military is unable to distinguish between civilians and terrorists in Gaza's reported death toll amidst the war with Hamas. When presented with reports of thousands of Palestinian civilian casualties on CBS's news Face the Nation, Herzog said, I will be very careful about judging those numbers because neither you or I know many of them are armed terrorists, blah, blah, blah. So they're saying, well, all those numbers are from Hamas. So for all you know, we've only killed one civilian. All right, Yeoman, we had our fun, buddy. Let's, we had our fun. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Yeoman. You've been so helpful. You've been so helpful, making a clear argument. Notice how Yeoman never said, I agree with the two-state solution. So we don't agree with killing them all. We don't agree with exiling them. We can't live together. So what do you want? What do you want? You want all the Palestinians to walk into the fucking ocean? You want all the Palestinians to walk into a fucking... What do you want? I just want them to fucking disappear magically. And I'm the one in the right. I'm the one justified in saying that. I just want a magical solution where I'm happy and that's it. Look, international law is clear. You having a war crime committed against you does not justify war crimes. I understand the United States did that. By the way, the United States was admonished, and fingers were wagged about its genocidal destruction of Iraq and Afghanistan. I think Vietnam as well. But international law is very clear. You don't get to just commit war crimes if war crimes have been committed against you. It doesn't give you a free pass. You don't get a free fucking pass to kill innocent women and children. Oh, human shields. Oh, well, that's pretty convenient, except, you're still a war criminal. No, we're not. You're an anti-Semite. You're an anti-Semite. Yeah, so this was the clip I was showing at the beginning of the stream. I think the number's up to 60,000 bombs or something like that. I don't know. The amount of destruction is disgusting. And we got bloodthirsty people looking at images like this and going, good, yes. This is what I want. Bunch of dead women and children, a bunch of collapsed buildings. We all acknowledge that Israel's not leaving northern Gaza, right? They're going to make some shitty, pithy excuse about how they can't endanger themselves by letting Hamas take over the region, and they're never going to give back northern Gaza. We all fully acknowledge that, right? I got a better chance sprouting wings and flying to the fucking sun than Israel giving up northern Gaza after they've fully occupied it and taken over and cleared out the whole city of Hamas. And they have full control. Geez, guys, the communist is an atheist. Fucking news at 11. Israel building a new corridor to transfer goods aside from the Egypt corridor. They're not leaving, folks. They're not leaving. This is it. It's a new style of colonialism. Because it's all done through the lens of social media, through this like gaslighting alternate reality. They are aware of that power they have, Icarus. I'm gonna fly to the sun until my wings melt. They're not leaving. Well, shit, this has nothing to do. This is some, mining operation in Africa. I meant to show this at the beginning of the stream, but I'll show it to you now. Fascinating footage. The mine is in the process of collapsing, and these people are trying to get out. Isn't that wild? He's like literally avoiding rock slides while he's desperately trying to keep the hole open so that these guys can get out of there. I don't know about kids, but they're very, very young. I would say they're definitely in their early 20s, late teens. They're laughing. He's leaping out of there, dude. Yep. I'd be getting the hell out. This video is so suspenseful, dude. Oh my god, dude. That's everybody. That's everybody. Oh my god, dude. Wow. And look, you know, we need what America, and this is the problem with the West. And this is when people point to the West, when they say, oh, well, these, you know, African countries and all these third world countries that are being exploited, the West is happy to take the resources being, you know, mined in these insane conditions. They're happy to work with the, you know, the corrupt, you know, leader of the you know, fucking government there. They're happy to do that, and they don't set any standards. They don't tell you know, Robert Mugabe, you know, hey man, you gotta improve these conditions or we're not going to buy this material from you. They don't do that. They don't set those standards. They're okay with the third world being exploited if it benefits the first. And that is one of the major criticisms of the West when it comes to the condition that some of these countries are in, because all this, you know, the stuff that they're mining is getting sent right to the first world. And so, yes, there is an obligation of the West to set standards to make sure that people are not getting buried alive, and to earn what, $1 a day if they're lucky, 50 cents a day if they're lucky. So there we go. Just wanted to show that video. Amazing stuff. I'm really glad. It looks like everyone got out alive, which is great news. All right. So there's been a pretty heavy focus on the tunnels. Does this guy actually get into it, or does he just blow V8? No, he gets into it. Okay, no, he's getting into it. But there's been a big talk about the tunnels. You know, the two big talking points. We're going to defeat Hamas, and we're somehow going to do that without invading southern Gaza magically. No one's talking about that. You're not defeating Hamas unless you're going into southern Gaza. And also, if you're going to the fucking, hotel, where are they staying? Saudi Arabia? Is that where the leaders of Hamas are currently, you know, chilling? In some 5-star hotel? So you're not defeating Hamas unless you're invading southern Gaza and going after these guys. But also this idea that you're going to be able to destroy this tunnel network. Everything I've heard about these tunnels, they're Qatar. Thank you, Davey, for that correction. Qatar, not Saudi Arabia. But you know, you're not defeating Hamas unless the leaders of Hamas are taken out, right? I think we can all agree. So here we got another one. All right, let's do this one more time. So no fear. Palestine doesn't exist. Okay, I disagree with you. You're wrong, but I'll play around. I'll play, you know, we'll pretend you're correct, okay? Yeah, I know. Yeah. Do you think the Palestinians should be killed, all of them? Or do you think the Palestinians should be exiled from the remainder of their land, exiled from the West Bank and the remainder of the Gaza Strip, and I don't know, dumped in Jordan or Egypt? Which one of those do you think should happen? Kill them all, or exile like 6 million, just under 6 million people, forcibly remove 6 million people from their homes, and dump them in an Arab country. Which one do you agree with? No fear. Which one do you want to do? Thank you for not answering me. That makes this all really awkward. So I'm just extend the question to you there, buddy, with your little alpha Chad icon there. Do you want to kill all the Palestinians, or do you want to exile all the Palestinians? Which one is it?
Organized army's worst nightmare, as Israel's forces.
Yeah, okay. I didn't ask that question. None of you guys are answering any of the questions I'm asking. So I'm just going to ban all of you. If I don't get an answer from all three of you in the next, I don't know, minute, I'm going to ban all three of you.
Press into Gaza.
So two-state solution then? Two-state solution? Yeah. Okay, so there's one answer. Yeah, well, which one do you want? You don't want to live with them. You don't want to share Jerusalem. You don't want to share Jerusalem, right? You're not going to share your country with the Palestinians. You don't agree with the two-state solution. So which one is it? Are you going to kill them all? Or are you going to kick them all out? Which one is it?
Kilometers of tunnels dug by Hamas nullify many of the natural advantages.
I didn't ask that question. You're answering questions that weren't asked. I asked a very simple question. You obviously don't agree with two-state solution. Do you want to kill them all or kick them all out? Which one is it? No, you're not. No, you're fucking not.
That they would get above ground.
All right.
Away,
I gotta finish the show, guys. I'm trying. See, I can't delay the show any longer. Entertaining bad actors, but for the honest actors in the chat that can see what's happening in front of your eyes, you see how difficult it is to have a conversation with a nationalist, conversation with a partisan who says, "My side is good. I'm fighting evil." Because Hamas is evil, but you're not killing Hamas. You're killing innocent women and children. They believe in Hamas. They love Hamas. How do you know? You read in their hearts and minds? No, it's okay. I'm just going to go ahead and give you all the ban, but I just wanted everyone to see that it's like literally impossible to have a conversation with nationalists. And so the person just said, oh, they voted for them freely. So in 2018, the Gazan citizens protested against Hamas because Hamas's refusal to hold elections, and Hamas fired on those protesters. There hasn't been legitimate elections since Hamas was installed into power. It's fair to say that Hamas does not represent the Gazan citizens. It's fair to say that Hamas is holding the Gazan citizens hostage, just in a different way. Israel's holding everyone hostage in an open-air prison. Hamas is holding everyone hostage at the barrel of a gun. So look, if you're incapable of speaking from a place of nuance, speaking from a place of context about these things, then you're just not welcome here. And if you're incapable of answering a simple question, well, I don't want to live with them. Okay, so what are you going to do? You got 5-6 million Palestinians. You're just going to slowly kick them out and hope the problem fixes itself? I don't know, kind of. Here's some whatabouting about Hamas. I didn't ask about Hamas. I didn't ask about it. Oh yeah, well, Hamas is evil. Yeah, I know. We're not talking about Hamas. We're talking about Palestinian civilians. We're talking about...
Three very basic things.
It doesn't matter.
Light, space, and air.
Because it's just like before all of this started, because it was never about a real two-state solution. It was all about buying time to increase the pressure, to ratchet up the pressure, take more land through settlements. It's all just a delay tactic. It's just a fucking delay tactic until they've completed the project of destroying the Palestinian state. That's how it's been since the beginning, dog. That's how it's been since the beginning.
Describe going down as incredibly dangerous and difficult, saying that it's very disorienting. They describe it as feeling like you're underwater. There's a lack of oxygen.
The thing to understand is that these tunnels can go very deep underground. Last year, the Israel Defense Forces discovered a tunnel under Gaza plunging 70 meters below ground. That's deeper than New York's deepest subway station.
So we're currently deep underground somewhere in the Gaza Strip.
And when you're that far underground, the air is very
Could you add some context to your Hitler comment, Eric?
thick with very little oxygen. Some tunnels have ventilation going right up to the surface, but we've also seen images of oxygen tanks lining tunnel walls. In this propaganda video, militants from the group Islamic Jihad show off the labyrinth of tunnels deep below the Gaza Strip. At this depth, Israeli forces would also be operating partially blind. Any kind of communication equipment that relies on satellite technology or simple line of sight would be useless this deep below the surface.
The people who are going into the tunnel lose most of their access to the electromagnetic spectrum. They can't communicate easily with the surface and in some cases with each other.
Hamas, on the other hand, has communication hardwired.
Those old-fashioned landlines allowed Hamas leaders to communicate underground with one another in secret. They avoided using computers or cell phones in order to keep from being tracked by Israeli or U.S. intelligence.
Electricity provides light, but Hamas controls the switches. And in pitch darkness, Israeli night vision wouldn't work nearly as well. Fighting would also be cramped.
Israel has the upper hand from the air, but boots on the ground means fighting underground, and it's not going to be easy.
Israeli special forces have an entire subunit trained in underground warfare, how to find, enter, clear, and destroy Hamas tunnels. According to multiple reports, Israel has been experimenting with at least half a dozen pieces of anti-tunnel technology, including, apparently, tiny monster truck-like robots that can go in first to map what's ahead.
You can also use uncrewed aerial vehicles where space permits, that you can let them fly in and try to navigate.
But bottom line, tunnels are unpredictable. They're dark,
this is fantasy,
possibly booby-trapped, and unfamiliar to attacking forces.
Yeah, guys.
They are also vast. The Israeli army published this map in 2014, which we can't verify tunnel for tunnel, but it is a literal labyrinth stretching hundreds of kilometers, according to Hamas. And the maze under northern Gaza, where Israeli forces have begun moving in, is believed to be the most extensive part of the network, with long, zigzagging passages.
Think of the Gaza Strip as one layer for the civilians and then another layer for Hamas. And what we're doing now is...
So wait, if that's true, then why are you carpet bombing the first layer? How come it's not surgical strikes on the tunnels, sending commandos into the tunnels, you know, getting in there? How come you're carpet bombing the first layer if what you say is true here? That the first layer is civilians.
Passages.
Think of the Gaza Strip as one layer for the civilians and then another layer for Hamas.
And blow the shit out of the first layer.
Is that we are trying to get to that second layer.
So, okay, to the people talking about pumping the fucking tunnels with Zyklon B and fucking flooding the tunnels, guys, there's hostages in there, okay? There's fucking hostages, and also the earth absorbs water, okay? By the way, the earth absorbs water. It's hard to flood an earth, in a tunnel made of earth.
City below the city.
They've diverted much of the aid that they've received from the EU, the US, Qatar, and others, which instead of building civilian infrastructure, they've been focused on this.
For decades, this underground network has been used to smuggle goods in from Egypt. Back in 2007, the same year Hamas took control, CBC joined a pair of weapons dealers as they smuggled arms across the Gaza-Egypt border. Since then, the tunnel network has gotten much bigger and much more sophisticated. Let's look again at this map. When we showed it to you a moment ago, it was to show you how maze-like it is.
Thank you for your
now,
comment,
think of it
potatoes.
like a network of veins and arteries
Yeah,
carrying
Eric,
food,
yeah.
water, supplies, people, munitions, and weapons. Not pictured, the tunnels stretching south into Egypt. And there are many, many ways in and out.
The network is believed to have entrances hidden in homes, mosques, schools, and other public buildings.
The Israeli army also alleges there are access points within hospitals.
This is an illustration of Shifa Hospital and the underground facilities. From different places of the hospital, you can go.
Okay, so you have enough proof to make a 3D model. You have enough proof to make a fucking 3D model, but you can't show us the proof. You can't show us the information you base this 3D model off of. It's just got to be trust us, bro. It looks like this underneath. We whipped this up in Blender. So what? Just show us the evidence. Do you have what, some kind of like underground scan, some kind of radar? Did some probes? You got some enemy intel, right? You got a map off a dead terrorist, and you like this is what you're basing it off of? Because if all you are showing me is a fucking 3D model that you whipped up and a trust me, bro, it's not enough. That's not a fucking enough, dude. Like, and I want to believe him because Hamas absolutely utilizes the civilian population to, you know, for their own cynical benefit. So it's not even like I want to disagree with this guy, but dude, I wouldn't accept this information from anybody, dude. I don't care if the fucking Pope, you know, gave me a big kiss on the mouth and said, you know, all this shit was real. It's like, no, this isn't good enough, dude. This is a fucking 3D animation.
Of Shifa Hospital and the
yeah, that's a great point,
facilities.
Potatoes. But
From different places of the
I mean, Hamas is a legitimate cancer on the earth. Hamas is toxic, is total garbage. You can't negotiate with these people. You know, only on a military terms could you maybe do like, you know, some prisoner swaps and whatnot, but you're not negotiating with them in terms of like a two-state solution. These people are fucking psychopaths. You know, the problem is that you can't defeat terrorism with at the barrel of a gun. You can't defeat terrorism with an army. You have to defeat terrorism with politics. And the Israeli project of destroying all of Palestine doesn't help the situation. This is all.
hospital.
This is all about just taking it all, man. That's what this is.
That will provide you shelter.
Now, we can't verify whether this is true, but a senior Lebanese official told the New York Times Hamas is thought to have enough food and supplies to last months underground. Hundreds of thousands, perhaps even more than 1 million liters of fuel, entire storage facilities filled with ammunition and explosives, and supplied by tunnels that, when they're not narrow caverns, can be wide enough for vehicles to travel through.
It has its ammunition, it has lines of communication, large rooms, bathrooms, amenities, electricity, and most importantly, I think, it is equipped for prolonged stays underground.
Over time, Hamas's ability to manufacture its own weapons has only increased. And consider, since the war began and the most recent Israeli blockade of Gaza.
What is the fucking sci-fi noises? Who is this?
As well, restricting aid, fuel, water, and electricity. Nothing goes in. Hamas has fired hundreds of rockets across the border.
Long-range rockets stored on wall brackets can be rushed forward to be fired towards Tel Aviv and other cities from hidden gun pits connected directly to the tunnels.
Their ability to fight and expend fuel, supplies, very much
I mean, Potatoes, to be very fair, no, not really. I showed this several times. We should, people defending it when asked, hey, can you just say, what Hamas did on October 7th was wrong? And they can't even say that. They immediately start the whatabouting, occupation. Is it really so hard to say, yeah, no, the Hamas are monsters and what they did to those people is horrible. And they took They took autistic people prisoner and infants and, old ladies who needed 300 medicines to survive. And you can't even make a pithy killing people is bad statement before you start, you're talking about the plight of the Palestinian people. So no, it's a serious fucking problem that I'm seeing with people who are defending the Palestinian people, is that because they don't want to give a win to Israel, right? Because they think, well, if I acknowledge the barbarity of Hamas, then that's basically a win for Israel. And I would argue, no, it's actually a win for Israel when you're tiptoeing and doing a boogaloo, playing a what about game when talking about the barbarity of what is very clear a hardcore terrorist organization that is not interested in a democracy. We'd be lucky to get some kind of insane theocracy on the level of North Korea. Look at Afghanistan, right? So yeah, no, the left has a serious problem with this right now, and you want to look to a major problem. Look to one of the biggest streamers right now, Hassan. There's some of the things I agree with. He's made some very good comments about the statement, from the river to the sea or whatever, about how, well, that was a statement that Hamas has co-opted and that existed before Hamas and things like that. But man, the Ukraine apologetics, and now we're seeing, Hamas is a revolutionary organization liberating the Palestinians. No, man, no, these are not revolutionaries. These are extremists, and quite frankly, what they're doing is a net negative for the Palestinian people, and that's why we saw those protests in 2018. Hamas is not helping the Palestinian people at all with what it's doing.
Continues.
And the left shouldn't be defending them in any
Ariel
shape or
Bernstein
form. Hamas
is a former
specifically.
Israeli soldier, fought in 2014 in Gaza, knows what it's like.
All right. Okay. I don't have time for this. I do have to get going. I got a baby. I wish I had more time to cover it, but I don't. I got to get rolling here, folks. I want to thank everybody for your... Sorry. I want to thank everybody in the chat for your common sense, and understanding with this issue. It's very difficult to talk about. You have to inject a lot of nuance. It makes it slow and pokey. It's difficult. But thank you for your patronage of the News Underground. Big props to Potatoes. Big props to Eric, the eclectic strategy member. Thank you, strategy member, as well, with your help with that debate with Clutch Cargo. We will be doing a deep dive on the causes of inflation. I have no problem doing that. I'm not hiding from anybody. We will absolutely jump into the causes of inflation. No fucking problem. Gata Naranja, big props to you. Big props to Davey. Big props to Woke Patriot. Big props to Chem Goblin. Big props to your boy Lenny. And yes, big props to your boy Clutch Cargo. Thank you again, Clutch Cargo, for your contributions. Big props to Marks and Recreation. Thank you for coming back, Marks. Thank you for being here. This is tough, man. I'm having the worst time ever. I was having such a good time covering Ukraine. I kind of forgot how shitty the fucking rest of the world was when there wasn't a very clear, moral conflict to get behind. It's so much fun to be like good guy versus bad guy. And I know that's not, Ukraine is more complicated than that, but it felt closer to that. It felt closer to that. But no, thank you, Clutch Cargo. We will absolutely do that deep dive, buddy. Thank you for being here, and thank you for coming back. Baby time. I got to get to the baby. You know it. Thank you again, Potatoes, and thank you, everybody, once again, for your help in the Discord. If you want to contribute to the Discord, it's right here. Folks, it's a simple 3-step program to create political change. Step 1, inform yourself. Step 2, join a progressive political organization in your area. And step 3, put in the work. Meet those fascists at the doorstep. Peace in that motherfucking Middle East, and glory to the Ukrainian democracy. We'll see you again real soon. Thank you, everybody.